The smallest change can sometimes make the biggest difference, and this is one of those moments. Before we dig in, I want to wish you and your garden a very Merry Christmas, wherever you're growing from. And if you enjoy practical, no-nonsense gardening knowledge like this, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Now let's get straight to the good stuff, because this single tablespoon has quietly doubled harvests for more growers than most bagged fertilizers ever will. Why heavy-feeding crops fail even when soil looks good? Tomatoes, cucumbers and peppers are demanding plants. They grow fast, fruit hard, and ask a lot from the soil in a short time. Many gardeners feed them compost, mulch well, and still end up with weak flowering, dropped fruit or plants that stall halfway through the season. The problem isn't usually a lack of nutrients, it's that the nutrients aren't available when the plant actually needs them. Soil biology is the missing link, and without active microbes, even rich soil behaves like dirt. So here's the thing, molasses is that quiet fertilizer that wakes soil up instead of feeding plants directly. The tablespoon that changes everything is, in fact, unsulfured blackstrap molasses. Not for sweetness, not for calories, but, for biology. Molasses doesn't feed plants directly. Instead, it feeds the bacteria and fungi that unlock nutrients already sitting in your soil. Just 1 tablespoon is enough to create a microbial surge that improves nutrient uptake, strengthens root systems, and supports steady flowering and fruiting without pushing excessive leaf growth. So, why does molasses work when other boosters fail? Well, blackstrap molasses contains simple sugars, trace minerals like iron, potassium, magnesium and sulfur, plus complex carbon compounds. Microbes use the sugars as immediate energy, multiplying rapidly. As they grow, they convert locked-up nutrients into plant-available forms. This is why plants often respond within days rather than weeks. You're not forcing growth, you're restoring balance underground. The exact ratio that prevents mistakes and overfeeding. For garden beds, the safest and most effective ratio is 1 tablespoon of unsulfured blackstrap molasses per gallon of non-chlorinated water. If you only have tap water, let it sit uncovered for 12 to 24 hours so chlorine can dissipate. How to apply it for tomatoes without pushing leafy growth. Tomatoes respond best when molasses is applied during early flowering, and again when the first fruit sets. Water the soil around the root zone, not the leaves. About 1 quart per plant is sufficient. So let's talk about how cucumbers, turn this into faster vines and heavier fruit sets. Cucumbers really thrive on microbial-rich soils because, well, their roots are shallow and quite sensitive. Just apply the same 1 tablespoon per gallon mix as a soil drench when the vines begin to run. Now, here's why peppers benefit a bit differently and actually need careful timing. Peppers are slower to respond than tomatoes and cucumbers, but the long-term effect is, honestly, stronger plants and improved fruit quality. Go ahead and apply molasses once the plants have at least 6 true leaves, and then again at early bud formation. Let's look at how compost and molasses work better together than either one alone. Molasses, you see, shines brightest when paired with compost-rich soil. Compost provides the microbial diversity, while molasses supplies the energy. So, if you want consistent results, there are a few things you definitely shouldn't do. First, never apply molasses to dry soil. Always water lightly beforehand, so the microbes can actually move through the root zone. Also, avoid using sulfured molasses, because it can actually inhibit microbial life. And do not mix molasses with synthetic fertilizers that are high in salts, as those can kill the very organisms you're trying to encourage. Within 3 to 5 days, Many gardeners notice deeper green foliage, improved leaf posture, and stronger new growth. Flower drop often decreases within 2 weeks. Fruit size becomes more uniform rather than larger all at once. The real power of this tablespoon isn't the immediate boost, it's the long-term shift in soil health. Each application strengthens the microbial network, making future feeding more efficient. Over time, plants rely less on constant inputs and more on stable soil processes. As the year wraps up and we look toward the next growing season, remember that gardening success rarely comes from more products. It comes from understanding how soil works and working with it rather than against it. This one tablespoon is a reminder that small, thoughtful inputs often outperform big, expensive solutions. If this helped you see your garden differently, share it with a fellow gardener who's chasing bigger harvests without chemicals, and make sure you're subscribed so we can keep growing smarter together. Merry Christmas, and here's to healthier soil and heavier harvests in the seasons ahead.